right. We are live right now. We are live. Master Your Money with Eric Anderson. As we go live, those folks who are joining in, please let us know you can hear us as you can come on in the chat. Drop on in the chat. All right. It's like it just now getting there. Let me see. Is it live? Make sure we're coming on right now. I think we're on now. I think it's live now. Just took a little bit. Those who are coming in, please let us know if you can hear us. Drop a line in the chat. Let us know that you're here for Master Your Money with Eric Anderson. Those business owners, entrepreneurs, those folks who really are inspiring business owners, entrepreneurs, this is the workshop today. This is that workshop for you. Those who are thinking about business, those who have failed in the business and realize, man, I can't get back up. I don't know what to do. I'm still thinking about how do I build generational wealth? How do I really make some of these things happen for my family and for my life? So those of you joining us, please drop a line in the chat if you're here. Let us know you can hear us. Let us know if you have any questions regarding today's topic today. Can you hear us? All right. Let's see. You know, what's today? Tuesday. It's cold. Everybody probably got some soup or something. You know, it was today that heater came on that I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, yeah, walking around with the heater and the blanket on, and we're in Texas, so this is interesting. You know, it's just a little too cold for me. Those of you joining us, welcome. Are y'all here? Let us know you can hear us. Make sure everything is working correctly on the technical side. And we'll get started here momentarily. Eric, how we doing, sir?
I'm great. And yourself?
Doing good. I guess we can go ahead and get started when you're ready to rock and roll. You ready? I'll just jump on into the intro.
Well, you just go ahead and start talking.
Huh?
We just go ahead. We can start.
Okay, cool. So today, you guys, is Stop Working was the title today was Stop Working for Free, How Entrepreneurs Build Real Profit. And it's interesting, Eric, because as an entrepreneur, not everybody knows how to make real profit. There's a lot of things, a lot of factors that go into that. Even the mindset, the skill set to want to do that. And you know what? Truthfully, not everybody's cut out for entrepreneurship, right? Not everybody's cut out for entrepreneurship, and I realized that like true entrepreneurs are willing to eat like a banana a day, like rice and beans
to start.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like when you're starting out, like you're willing to go to this magnitude because you want something. And I'm like, I don't know about a banana a day, bro. Like I usually, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if I could do that. Like I don't know, rice and beans every day. You know, if I have to, then yeah. But it's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
You know, I just saw a video right before we got on by one of these influencers that everybody listens to, and he said in the video, he said people think that being an entrepreneur is risky. He said risky is having a job as opposed to being an entrepreneur. And a lot of people believe that. They think it's easier to get up every day and start your business and get all these clients and have to have days where you're not making any money at all, days that you're struggling, days that you're having a problem paying your bills and things like that, as opposed to going to a job every day, getting a guaranteed paycheck and all those type of things. I can understand from the standpoint of I could lose my job. That's my only income, so I can end up losing my job. But again, I know people don't want to believe it, but there are plenty of people out here who start a business and the business crushes them. Just because you have a business does not mean that you are successful. It does not mean that it's going to succeed. It does not mean that you're going to be able to pay your bills. You're not going to be able to, it does not mean that. Obviously, there are people who are business owners who are successful, but we don't need to go over the numbers on people having to understand that it's not easy being an entrepreneur. It's not easy what me and you are doing right now. You know what I'm saying? You know, we're out here doing this to try to educate people. You know, we're just doing this on the side to try to educate people on these drawbacks again, because again, I'll just be honest with you, we're no fluff here. Where I'm not going to tell you to go do all this nonsense, to go get all these loans, to go out do all these things to try to put you in a bad situation just so I can make money out of it. And if that puts us in a position compared to all these influencers and all these people who you all follow and stuff like that, then so be it. But our deal is to be completely honest, to be completely frank with people. I see people all day long. We talk about it all the time. I get videos from all these people who send me all this stuff telling me this influencer told me I can do this, or they told me to go do that, and they told me to take this course so I can start making all this money like they make. And most of them aren't making any money at all just off of the courses. And sadly, we end up quitting our jobs. We chase these dreams because everybody believes that it's the thinking in your head of, I can't work for somebody else. I can work for myself. I can have my own deal. I'm going to be successful. I just read somebody said, I would rather make $20,000 a year on my business than make $60,000 working for somebody else. Does that make sense to you? Doesn't make sense to you. But that's what the person said. I'm all for working for yourself. Yeah, I work for myself. But again, you know, we talk all the time. When we go to these different events, we sit and we talk to people, and people are just so headstrong. And again, I'm not trying to tell you to not have a business. I'm not saying stay at your job. That'd be hypocritical. I quit my job. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite. But at the end of the day, to believe that it is that simple, that all I got to do is just go get a bag full of money and put my sign out and start this business, and everybody's going to come and they're going to buy my product. It's funny when you see all these likes and everything, when people say, oh, I'm starting this business, I'm selling this book and all this stuff, and everybody, it's like something I just saw. I don't want your likes. I want your business, period. At the end of the day, I want your business. I don't want your likes. I don't want you hyping me up, because what happens in that regard is you sit back and you say, oh, I'm going to be great at this because everybody is following me. Everybody's liking me. Everybody's saying I'm going to be great at this, until it's time to buy my product. And in many cases, you have a business where they're only going to buy it one time. So like if I sell a book or something like that, I'm only going to sell the book one time. It's not like I'm going to get repeat customers, something like that. I might open up a restaurant and people might come the one time, you know, to support me that one time when I have the grand opening or whatever. But are you coming on a weekly basis? Are you coming every other weekend? You know, are you really and truly supporting me? So we get upset because we sit back and we say, man, you guys are liking everything I do, and y'all are hyping me up and telling me how great I am, but you're not my client.
Yeah.
And that's what a business is. A business is somebody who has clients, who has business, who's making revenue, who's making money. It's not somebody who just says, hey, I own a business. Everybody claims they have a business, but is your business actually successful? Can your business actually sustain you? And that's the conversation we don't want to have.
Eric, I definitely got a question for you. Could you check your phone real quick? I think that when we think about entrepreneurship, and I know like in your 20 plus years of experience, like what do you feel that are like the financial blind spots that you see in business owners when they come in, or new business owners when they come in, or the existing business owners that come in and they are, missing something, or they get blindsided by this when trying to open, have a new business. What are those questions that they're not asking themselves? When you come in, you give the pros and the cons. So what's the biggest one that you see like in your office?
To me, it's almost like when we're having I liken it to watching Shark Tank. So what I mean by that is when I see somebody come in with a product or something, I always say, how does that make you money? So is this a product that people are going to buy? Is this something that people are going to gravitate to? The thing that's coming to my mind, to be honest with you, is when I see people charging for courses on how to fix your credit, or how to get you credit or get you money. They get a lot of clients, right? Or at least they get a lot of likes. Why? Can you hear?
I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why is because they are selling a product that you believe that you need and you want that product. So you're willing to pay somebody to help you fix your credit or help you do these type of things because you find value in that. So that's why everybody runs around and says they fix credit, right? Everybody who doesn't have a clue about finance, they all claim they fix credit because they know that they're going to get a bunch of people to like what they say, who are going to take their course, who are going to do all this, that, because again, they're selling something that they believe that you think that you need, right? Everybody wants great credit, right? So everybody runs and says, hey, if you're going to fix my credit, even if I'm horrible financially, if you're going to help me fix my credit, then I'm willing to pay for this course. And in the same manner, if you're willing to teach me how to, old school stuff, if you're willing to teach me how to be successful doing Airbnbs, or you're willing to teach me how to be successful doing Toro, or you're willing to teach me how to day trade or something like that, people run to that, right? Because that's something that you think you need value in. You find value in that.
Yeah. Is that what you're experiencing in your office? Is that what you're experiencing in your office when like people are trying to do Toro and day trading and certain things? Are there any folks that in your office that say, hey, I want to open up my food truck, right? They want to do a food truck, or they want to have, always trying to do an event space. Maybe they just wanted to do something that's in the medical field, or they wanted to, I don't know if that is, we talk about, car sales, right? I want to do in car sales and try to sell some cars and kind of fix and flip those kind of cars or something like that. I was just trying to figure out like, what are some of the folks that come into your office that are experiencing those issues and those challenges, and like, how do you advise them?
So a lot of people, and something that's popping up in my head right now, I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings, back in the day was Forex. Do you know how many people came in here and said, I'm doing Forex? I'm like, okay. If you think it's going to make you money, but again, I've actually sat in networking events. I've actually sat in groups where people come in and they say, hey, I sell Forex. I need you to be on my team. I want you to join. We're going to make all this money selling it. Do you see anybody talking about Forex right now? We were having a discussion earlier today about me and somebody getting into it about IULs, right? Remember the discussion? And I said to that person, I was like, you're not going to be selling this in 6 months. And she's not. She's not. Because once you sit down and you look at the prospectus and you understand the type of money that you got to put in order to make this work the way they're BSing you in these videos that everybody's liking. When you actually sit down and take a look at how much money you got to put into these type of things, stuff like that, it's like you're really not gonna. Not only are you not gonna make any money buying it, the person who's trying to sell it, they're the ones who get frustrated because they're trying to sell it, and people are looking around like, man, this isn't really going to make me any type of money. Not the type of money that you're trying to say. And again, we're talking from experience, right? Because you know these people. You know these people who are out here trying to sell this stuff and trying to do this. And so, again, we're not trying to be negative today, but it's not as easy to start and be in a business as people would like to think that it is. And again, I'm just gonna be blunt with you right now. If we want 5,000 people watching our video right now, I'll bullshit you. You know what I mean, right? I'll sit here and I'll tell you some nonsense that I know is a lie, that I know is a scam, that I know is going to get you audited, that I know is going to get you in trouble. And I'm going to walk away from you.
Yeah.
Right? Because those people come in my office.
I'm
good.
Talk about it.
I'm good. I got clients. I don't have to come here and BS anybody or run around and try to get clients by lying to them, by telling them stuff that I know for a fact isn't true. Like I said, people send me videos all day long. And then I just sit back and I respond back to the videos. I'm like, that's not true. Remember the thing I told you today? Isaac, if I build a cemetery in my backyard, I don't have to pay HOA fees.
I thought you weren't going to go that way. I didn't even know. I was way over there. To get to that place.
You are never going to guess what this guy is pointing at and saying, this is how you avoid paying property tax and HOA fees. So I'm sitting in my house and I build a cemetery in my backyard. And then I say, I don't got to pay HOA fees or property tax now because I have a cemetery in my backyard. Like I said, it took us months going back and forth to get my patio built. We were having to do all of these permits and having to do all this and that, but I can just build a cemetery in the back. It's stupidness like that, Isaac, that we get to see all day long, and people click fire, challenge, click all this stuff to do it. And then the crazy part is, Isaac, and then when somebody sees that, that's when they start doing the same videos. They just do the same videos. And that's why I told you, most people, there's no way, just from a math standpoint, most of the people out here doing credit repair, who claim they do credit repair, you can't be making money. There's too many of you. There's too many of you who claim you do credit repair. There's too many of you who say you have a course on how to teach people how to fix their credit. There's too many of you who say, I have a course on selling CPNs, or I have a course on doing Toro and things like that. There's too many of you out here who say you do that in order, and especially for what you're charging, there's no way you're really making any money. And what's worse is what you're doing is you're taking their money. You're taking people's money and you say, I'm killing dreams. You're killing dreams because you actually took money from the person and told them you can help them.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's interesting you bring that up, Eric, because, you know, I understand, like, we talk about business and hobby and what that looks like.
Correct.
And a lot of this market, we had a question that came out was like, how do you create value in a field or industry that is saturated? Right.
You have to make yourself
and that's the credit repair that's saturated. How can, if everybody's doing it, how can they make money? So what do you think that, you know, like, how do you create value in, you know, in a field or industry that's saturated? Do you move?
You definitely have to do something that makes you stand out. That makes you, again, for me, like I say all the time, and again, I completely appreciate it for the people who are on here, who are that I get referred all day long. Me and you sit here and we talk about it. People refer me all day long because they know I do quality work. They know I do what I say I'm going to do. They know I'm going to stand beside you. I'm not going to tell you to do any nonsense or any drama. I'm going to make sure that you are doing what's correct. And again, I might hurt your feelings because I might tell you something that you don't want to hear, but I'm going to be bluntly honest with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I'm fine. I know that I'm going to get referred. I know I'm going to be good in my business. As you see, I'm getting asked to speak all the time, right? By clients. Clients ask me to go speak at their church, ask me to go speak at their group and stuff like that because they know I'm not going to BS you. They know that I'm going to tell you the absolute truth. And sometimes that hurts, especially in business. Because again, like we were talking about last time, joking around, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I can fix your credit in 14 days when I know I can't.
Yeah.
Unless, like you said, I lie and say that somebody stole your identity or something crazy like that. But if you have legitimate stuff on there, I'm not going to lie to you just to get your business. See?
Hey, it was thanks for Michelle for that comment because hey Eric, tell me how I can make $1 million tomorrow, right? Like, and then you tell me that's how to make $1 million. You could make this, and the person that's telling you ain't made a dime, right? And so
let me correct you. Off of their business.
Yes,
they are telling you to do. They're not making a dime off of their business. That's the funny part. Like I said, I've been in business for over 15 years. And we just started doing videos a month ago. And I'm not even I'm not even selling a course. So if I'm good on my business, I'm good because of my business. I'm not good because I'm selling whack courses and selling people dreams. I'm good because of my business, right? If I've been in business for 15 years and I don't have a course, we just started doing videos and stuff like that, I'm not good because I got people clicking the link on my free masterclass, and then I just Google you some nonsense that other people are regurgitating and saying. Just like I said today about all these people who now are teaching, are sending courses in canned courses.
Yeah.
You don't even have to know the stuff that I went to school for and had to get all these degrees and licenses and stuff like that. They're just sending you the course, and then you just push the course out. But then if somebody sat here and asked you questions, you wouldn't be able to answer those questions because you don't have a clue of what you're talking about. Like the thing I just sent you about, and I don't like to tell people's names. What's the guy here in Austin, the big guy? He's really well known. He's the anti-Dave Ramsey kind of deal, the way he talks. He was arguing with the girl. The girl said she took money out of her 401k and now she owes franchise tax.
Oh, wow.
Did you know that?
No, I know that.
And I mean, he is huge. He is huge. And he sat on the video. And again, I forwarded it to you right before we got on. He was arguing with her saying, yeah, now you owe all these franchise tax because you took money out of your 401k. What does your 401k have to do with your franchise tax? You don't own a business. What are you talking about? I took my 401k at my job. What they gonna do with franchise taxes?
Yeah. That's interesting you bring out because I think that, when you think about business and the structure and how when you're operating your business, what does that look like? I know we talked about like how do you increase that value in that industry so you can in a saturated industry and you can like really make a name for yourself and really be unique. But how does a business entrepreneur or business owner or aspiring business owner actually determine like what their time is really worth and like what is really worth to invest your time, energy, and effort into? Like, is there a number? We can't just pick anything and just go with it, but what's the math behind it? Is it the passion behind it, right? What are you willing to do? And we can scratch, like, there's folks out here just trying to do side hustles and just trying to do stuff.
That's what I was getting ready to start.
I said, that's
where I was going to start.
Legit business, like people that that do legit business. What are those things? What are they struggling to do? How do they create value in their respective industries? How do they move? And that you kind of see behind the scenes, and if they had anything to share about how they picked or fell into it. Was it because of their degree? Was it because of their parents kind of encouraged them, or did they kind of found it as a thing that they can do in the market where they can make the most amount of money because they had connections? Because sometimes you can just be saturated in the industry and have a good product, packaging, branding, and people will buy from you versus everybody else, and you just came on the scene. You
Correct.
know, we always give that example of why P. Terry's, McDonald's, Burger King, and all that has been there, but why did P. Terry's just pop up all around on 35 and other areas?
They're
And
everywhere.
and there's been the staple of fast food burger joints everywhere,
Mm.
right? But why does that took over Whataburger and all that? Why is it just coming up on now? This has been years. This is brand new. But why is it, right? And so I just think about that. But if you had anything to add on that, it's like, how do they determine like what's worth it? If you can give us that.
So for me, I'll do my story. I think we've talked about it before, but for myself, I've been, I've worked at a couple of accounting firms and stuff like that. And I was just like doing my taxes, I was doing family members' taxes. And then more and more people kept asking me about doing taxes. So I was doing taxes on the side and stuff like that. And then as it continued to grow, I remember my first bookkeeping client. It was like in today's conversation in the article I did today, that's exactly what happened. He was bringing me all of his receipts and everything at the end of the year. And I was like, man, I don't have time to go through all these receipts and everything to do your tax at the end of the year. And he was like, you need to quit and start your own business. And I was like, my business can't sustain me. It can't sustain me yet. So I kept growing and growing. And then I had him as a bookkeeping client. Then I picked up some more bookkeeping clients. And then before I knew it, and part of that helped, was I could not stand my job. I couldn't stand my job. So it wasn't a situation where it was like, I want to keep doing this business, but I don't want to keep this job. I cannot stand being here. I was getting sick on Sundays, thinking about going to work on Monday. And so as it continued to grow and grow and grow, it got to a point where it was like, this is keeping me from making money. You see what I'm saying? My business is growing to the point to me coming in here from 9 to 5 every day is keeping me from being able to answer the phone. From me being able to sit in an office and meet clients who are going to pay me way more than what this job is paying me. And that's not usually what people do. People get an idea, they go get a bunch of money, and then they run out with no proof of concept. Meaning, I watched this video, this person told me I can make all this money doing this, even though they can't prove it. They can't show me their profit and loss statements. They can't show me 1099s or anything of them really and truly being successful at what they're telling me that I could be successful at doing. But because of the way they're carrying themselves in these videos and stuff like that, I believe it. So people end up either quitting their job or they go out and get all this money to start this business. And then what happens if the business isn't successful? In either case, right, you're worse off than when you started, right? Because now I don't have a job, or I still have my job, but now I'm having to pay back all these loans because I ate into all these loans and everything trying to grow this business. And so again, please understand, I'm not trying to say to not start a business, but like you said, a lot of people who come in here, they say, hey, this person said they can get me all this money. I took this course. And what's even worse, Isaac, a lot of stuff that people say I'm going to start this business in, they're not, how do I put it? You don't have a background in it. It's like we joke around all the time when you see all these people who say they're financial services professional. Is that how you say it? Finance service professional? When you see all these people who say they do that, and you say, what's your background? They don't have background. They don't have a background in finance. They don't have a background in accounting. They don't have a background in any of that. But because somebody told you you can make all this money selling IULs, or a lot of times you can make all this money doing taxes. I have people call me all the time asking me, do you make a lot of money doing bookkeeping? I want to start doing bookkeeping. And I said, okay, what is your background in that? Do you have an associate's, in accounting? And most people do not. They don't, because again, and I get it. Everybody, everybody wants to have their own thing and everybody wants to live this lifestyle. And usually your job cannot sustain the lifestyle that you're trying to live. So you believe you have to get a side hustle, you got to start your business, stuff like that. I'm not knocking that. Again, it's more of the conversation of you need to really understand it's not as easy as the person you're seeing in the video who's trying to sell you a course is making it out to be, who's trying to get you to buy their product, be it a course or join their team or whatever. It's not as easy. Again, like I said, I'm not trying to be funny or trying to knock anybody. You want me to join your team to be successful, and you're not successful at it. So how can you teach me how to be successful if you're not successful at it? And I know that's going to hurt some feelings, right? That's going to hurt feelings, right? Because again, it goes back to most of the people who are selling these products and stuff. You're not successful selling the product. You're successful getting people to pay for your course. You're getting successful to have people in your upline.
Yeah.
You know I'm telling the truth, right? Those are the people who are, that's how you get successful. You're not successful because you're out here selling a product or anything like that. You're successful because you have all these people in your uplink, or you have all these people paying for this course. But if somebody really sat down and said, hey, I want you to help me learn how to budget. I really need you to help me. And I'm just doing what I do. You know, I really need you to help me get my budget together, or talk to me about retirement planning, talk to me about the different types of things I can do in my business to save money in my business besides going and buying a G-Wagon,
right,
or taking my family on a cruise and things like that. What can I really and truly do to not, because to me, the frustrating part is it's not so much if your whole mindset is, I just don't want to pay taxes. How is that building wealth? How is that growing your business? If your whole mindset is, you're telling me that I can just start this business and write all this stuff off, you know what I'm saying? My family can go on a cruise and we can sit at the breakfast, you know, and we can go to breakfast and have a 15-minute conversation about business. So now I can write it off. But my business isn't making any money.
It's on its way, Eric. It's on its way. The
Well,
money is
I should not be doing those cruises and stuff until it's here.
Cruise is a little bit different. Yeah, cruise all over the world. But yeah.
Buying cars, I should not be doing those things until I have an emergency fund, until I have a savings account, until I have reserves, especially depending on what type of business I have. Say I have to buy inventory. Say I have payroll. I shouldn't be doing any of that. The last thing I should be thinking about is, can I go buy this and this so I pay less taxes? But then I'm scrambling to be able to buy inventory throughout the year. Or I can't make payroll. So I'm having to go get lines of credit or payday loans or whatever, or me going without because I can't make payroll and things like that. There's no logic in that.
This is good, because
there's really no logic in that.
When you were talking about, I kept seeing, like, if you don't have your books together, right? If you don't have your books together, and just like that bookkeeping, like making sure everything is in order so you can really look at your numbers and they're real, to be able to get to that place. Some people just see, oh, I got this money, I'm gonna go, boom, I'm gonna go into the cruise, I'm spending it on this or whatever the case may be. But like when it comes to bookkeeping, how have you, when you think about that, how have you helped other clients that you've worked with kind of get them in order for them to be successful, right? Because a lot of people don't realize, like, what you do that's very important helps them get out of binds and, IRS and all that kind of good stuff. So as an entrepreneur, what would you do if I'm coming into your office and I got this deal, I got this, I got the money, I got the backing, things are flowing, I'm making a little bit of money, but I'm not able to really sustain myself and like the family and all that good stuff, but I'm still working my job, and I'm bringing in probably $30,000, or so as far as in revenue. I'm probably getting about 17 or something like that around in profit. And you like, hey, that's some growth right there, right? So if they're coming in, what would you advise? What would you do looking at it like, hey, let's make sure that we don't get into a place that we don't want to be.
So for me, I'll admit, and I do it all the time, I hate bookkeeping, to be honest with you. I find it tedious and stuff like that, but I know it's a part of not only my business, but it's a part of my client's business. And the main reason why I don't even like to say bookkeeping, to me, it's record keeping, to be able to take a look at your numbers, to see your cash flow, to see your profit and loss for your business. Because again, even a person who doesn't have a business, if you're just a regular person, goes to work every day, has a W-2 job, and you don't have a clue what you're spending your money on every month and stuff like that, you're going to be in trouble, right? Unless you make so much money that you don't even have to worry about it. But usually a person who makes so much money like that, what? They're just buying more and more stuff. They're not thinking about the future. They're not thinking about growth. They're not thinking about retirement. Again, that's not everybody. Obviously, there are plenty of people who are, I have plenty of clients who are maxing out their 401k, have Robs, have IRA, have built, have bought real estate, things like that, as we talk, and they think about building towards their future, but most people don't. And again, that's what really, I'll say, frustrates me, is when I see somebody who I know does not have the guardrails in the platform, in the formation to be successful. You understand what I mean? If I'm trying to be successful, especially as a business owner, that's why it's interesting when somebody says, I'd rather have my own business as opposed to working for somebody. The one good part about working for somebody, depending on how we get paid, I know I'm getting paid. You understand what I mean? I'm going to get paid once a month. I'm going to get paid every 2 weeks. I'm going to get paid weekly, whatever. So I can set my bills by that. Meaning I know so let's say I get paid every 2 weeks. So I know every Thursday night or whatever, money's going to hit my account. So if I'm sitting around on Tuesday and I don't have any money, I just got to wait till Thursday night. I might blow that money, but I know every time Thursday comes around, I'm getting paid, right? It doesn't work like that if you have a business, correct? And even worse, the part that people don't think about, I might have a business, I might have a restaurant or something like that that's bringing in revenue every day, right? People come in every day, but if I don't have my numbers together and I don't understand how much I need to be charging in order for me to be profitable, I can have a business that just isn't making money, right? There are plenty of people who have businesses that aren't making money, and you don't understand and figure it out that you're not making money because you go out and get the $250,000 loan, or you're living off your credit cards, or you're getting business credit and stuff like that. So all you know is your bills are being paid, right? So in your head, you're thinking I must be profitable because I'm able to make payroll, I'm able to buy inventory, but you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, as they say. Instead of sitting back and saying, it would make more sense for me to put my money away as far as having reserves, having a savings account, putting my taxes away every pay period or whatever. If I'm paying quarterly taxes, if I'm a LLC or whatever, where I'm making estimated payments and stuff like that, that's usually the biggest hit, right? Is when people have to pay taxes. That is the biggest hit usually for business owners, right? Is having to pay taxes. But we believe the answer to that is, I'm going to go do all these things I cannot afford. Keep that in mind. So someone tells me that if I go buy this car, or if I go do this or that, I can write it off on my taxes, but every month I cannot afford that car payment. Or I go put that cruise on a credit card, so now I'm having to pay that credit card every month along with the interest, right? So I'm doing things for the sake of saying, I don't want to pay taxes, but it's hurting you, correct? It's hurting your business, because this is money that your business really and truly needs to grow, but you're so focused on, this guy is telling me, this guy or this woman is telling me that if I write all this stuff up, I don't got to pay taxes at the end of the year, but I don't have any money for growth. That's why we did the article on the profit first accounting, right? What did that say? I'm supposed to take the profit and set that away so I can grow my business. No, we're too busy. We're too busy trying to flex and go buy all these things because we don't want to pay taxes. Instead of saying, no, if I take these profits and I grow my business, I'm going to make more money. But again, we're just so focused on, I don't want to pay taxes. I don't want to pay taxes. Do you know how many times people come in here and they say, I want to write everything off. I don't want to pay any taxes. Here's all my things. And then they come right back and say, oh, they say I got to amend my return because I'm trying to buy this house. Or I'm trying to get this business loan. That's why when I meet you, the moment I meet you, especially if you own a business, hey, what are your plans in the next 2 years? What are your plans in the next 5 years? What are your plans in the next 10 years? How do you plan on retiring? You own a business, right? How do you plan on retiring? Do you plan on selling the business? Do you plan on growing the business? Because you need to, if you're an LLC, you need to be thinking about doing a SEP IRA. If you're an S Corp, it helps you tax-wise. And if it's just you, if you're the only employee, you can do a solo 401k, all kinds of things like that. We don't just say, just go buy this car, or just go on vacation or whatever. We talk about, again, everybody wants to use the word generational growth. I mean, generational wealth. How are you growing wealth? You're growing memories by doing all these things, going on all these cruises, driving this car. But again, I mean, we're laughing, Isaac. And again, people can get mad. People can really and truly get mad at that. But at the end of the day, if I said to somebody, how much money do you have in your emergency fund? How much money are you putting away towards retirement? And you say to me, Eric, I can't afford to retire, but you just came back from vacation.
Wow, that hurts.
You see what I'm saying? Again, I'm not knocking it. If you make enough money to put money away and go on vacation, that's one thing, right? That's what wealthy people do, right? When I keep on hearing that crap, this is what wealthy people do. This is what wealthy people do. Yeah, a wealthy person can afford to put money away and still live their lifestyle and still be able to buy these things. If you're struggling, you should not be thinking the mindset of a wealthy person. Again, I keep saying it, it's not the same conversation. It's really and truly not. It's not the same conversation, but again, we get so fixated on somebody saying, if I have a W-2 job, create a fake business and write my cell phone off and write all this stuff off so I don't got to pay any taxes. But these are legitimate expenses, right? So now I'm going out here buying stuff that I probably really and truly can't afford just to be able to write off my taxes. But anybody with common sense knows, or knows taxes knows, if I'm W-2, I can just max out my 401k and it's getting the same result, right? Doesn't it bring my AGI down if I max out my 401k at work? Or if I have a traditional IRA, doesn't that bring my AGI down just like me showing a negative business? And I'm growing wealth, right?
Yeah.
But again, that's not sexy. That's not what people want to hear. People want to floss, they want to flex, they want to do all this stuff. Correct. Trevor, yep, correct. And then what's worse is, and then when you fall, they didn't care about you no way. So you did all this to impress them, and then when you fall, they just keep moving. They don't even think anything about you. So again, I'm trying not to be negative because I keep saying I'm not going to be negative, but I don't even say it's frustrating because it's not frustrating to me. It's not. It's just, I like to say it's interesting. It's not frustrating. It's interesting. When I see people send me videos and say, hey, is this true? Is this true? Is this true? And I say to the person, okay, so how does this video help you? Let's talk about your situation. So how does this help you? I understand that's what this person is saying that they're doing and they tell people to do stuff like that. But your finances, your retirement goals and things like that, it should not be cookie cutter. You should be able to sit down in front of me or sit down in front of your financial advisor or just sit down together or sit down by yourself and really sit down and say, what is my budget? What are my financial goals for the year? How do I plan on growing? What are the type of things that I'm trying to do? And if you really and truly sit down and have those type of conversations and stuff like that, again, I'm not knocking what people are telling people to do. I tell people all the time, some stuff is absolute nonsense. I'm not gonna lie. Some of these videos are absolute nonsense, but some of them do have a sprinkle of truth in them. but they twist it a little bit to make it seem a lot better than what it truly, really and truly is, to kind of get you to want to buy their course, to want to try to do that again, and then you get in that situation. It's almost like somebody saying, use real property as an example. I hear people say all the time, Grant Cardone is great for that. You're a fool to have money in a 401k as opposed to real estate. Like no one has any problems with real estate. What if I'm in a situation where I own real estate, but I don't have the disposable income to pay the mortgage every month if somebody isn't in there? I don't have the disposable income or the money saved to be able to, if my tenant's AC goes out or the fence falls down or those type of things. If I don't have those type of, if it's like Dave Ramsey likes to say, I should not own rental property if I'm broke. At the end of the day, you really
feel that they're broke, Eric, if they are making money, right? If they're bringing in income, most people don't feel like they're broke. I got money coming in. I don't feel broke. I can go eat.
From the real estate, are you talking about from real estate prospect or from your job?
I'm just saying, like, if you work from a job, like if you
okay, yeah.
I'm not broke.
No. What I mean by that is, if my real estate isn't making me money, because plenty of people own real estate that really does not have passive income. You know that, right? I do taxes all the time. I have people all the time where they bring in their mortgage interest, they bring in their 1098, and their mortgage interest, their property tax and insurance alone is more than what they're collecting in rent. And you're like, how is that possible? If no one's staying in the place, I'm not collecting rent, right? If no one's staying in the place, I'm not collecting rent, right? And we're not even talking about the repairs, if you have a property manager, all those type of things. But we're so fixated on, I go buy a $400,000 house and I can do accelerated depreciation on it. So that'll bring my AGI down so I don't pay any taxes in 2025. But if I did all this accelerated depreciation, what happens in 2026? I pretty much depreciated everything out almost, right? If I did accelerated depreciation. So in 2026, what's the tax gain on that? And I'm still having to pay the mortgage every month and and pay the repairs and all that stuff, even if no one's staying there. That's why the Turo thing was so interesting. When everybody was running out and getting cars and stuff for Turo, it's like, you understand, if you don't rent this car out, you still got to pay the kernel, right? The Airbnb arbitrage and everybody was doing.
You got jokes.
I know.
You got jokes. For those, I guess I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? Say I had Airbnb. But I'm familiar with Airbnb arbitrage.
Don't be a real life situation, Isaac. Don't be a truth teller who's telling you.
You want me to lie? You want me to lie?
Exactly. No, you got to lie and tell everybody you was making $1,000.
Hey, you win some, you lose some. Right. Hey, learn to lie. I would say that anything in business that you learn, if you ever decide this is something I want to do, I always say it builds a lot of character, right? It definitely will make you be in some situations. You'll get told no. You will experience people when you're dealing with people with money that you will really like, wow, I've never seen that out of you before. And so you really get to see a lot of people's true character of them, and then like their true colors. Right. And you get to realize like what you want to do and how you want to, just move in your business walk. So yeah, it looks like I think that we got a nice little question here or comment. If you want to check it out. Want to check it out, Eric?
Oh, I thought if I said you used to put those up there.
Yeah, I'm putting it up right now. I just want to make sure you're ready.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And so, especially from a retirement planning standpoint, I was just with a client last night, and we were talking about he wants to retire in the next 2 years, and we talked about what does retirement look like for him. Everybody's retirement is not the same. The way everybody wants to retire is not the same. The position you're in when you want to retire is not the same. A lot of people are out here getting HELOCs and refinancing their homes and doing all this stuff. So you're walking into retirement with bills and things like that, right? And so a lot of people, there are different types of ways, there are different types of things that you think you want to do in retirement. Are you doing the things necessary to be able to retire the way you want to? I know everybody says, if I have this gang of money and then I have the 4%, see, my clients are speaking. I'm not
hurt your feelings.
Hurt y'all's feelings when y'all
hurt your feelings, man. Hey,
feelings when y'all come in here.
I call him Eric Dream Killer Anderson. That's what I call him.
But again, like I said to people, if you're really and truly paying me and you are really sitting in front of me because you really and truly want me to be honest with you and you want my knowledge, I gotta be honest with you. And again, I don't say, no, you can't do that. I always do the pros and the cons, correct? I always say the good part about it and I say the bad part. And I basically say, you know, you need to really think about this if you're going to do this, because this can happen, or you need to make sure you're good on this end and stuff like that. It's like if I was sitting, somebody said, hey, I want to quit my job. And I would say, well, you know, how much money do you have saved? Have you started doing this business? Have you researched it? You know, what do you have to do to get this business up and running? Are you able to? It's like when I was working doing the insurance thing. When I was hiring people, it was like, hey, there's a possibility there's going to be months that you don't make any money, especially when you first start out, right? His honestly Bill's dreams. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. It's not. It is obviously not easy to digest, Bobby. You're absolutely correct. But I would tell them, I'll be like, hey, this might not be for you if you don't have money saved, if you don't have a spouse who can, you know, maintain the bills as you're growing your business and stuff like that. It can be really, really hard for you, depending on what type of business it is, right? There are businesses that you can get started and right out the gate, you can start making money. But a lot of businesses, especially when you think about the overhead, the expenses, that's the part that people don't think about. It's like, I was going to get to that today and I'll get to it now. It's like somebody saying, I'm working at this job and I'm making $75,000 a year. So if I can just get a job that's making me $100,000, if I can start a business making me $100,000 in revenue, I'm gonna be good. Anybody owns a business knows that ain't true. Knows that is not true. That math ain't mathin', as they say. Because again, like with Rod, we're gonna say from a financial planning standpoint, every business you start is not cookie cutter. There are people who actually sell products and not service. So like I sell a service. So I just have to buy software, all, you know, stuff like that, pen, paper like that. But I don't have to actually go out and buy products in order to sell those products in order to make money, right? I don't have to have a whole bunch of inventory in order to sell products. I have people contracted under me, but I don't have employees. So I don't have to worry about making payroll every month. I don't have to worry about paying payroll taxes, doing 941s. I don't have to worry about every quarter I have to have that money in order to do that. It's like, you see how many turkey leg clap, all these places, again, we're just being real, right? We're just being real, right? Sweetie pie, is that what it's called? Because he wasn't doing the 941s. He wasn't paying the 941s. I'm not making this up. Look these places up. Turkey Leg Hut. They weren't paying vendors. They weren't paying the 941s. So again, you are running a business, but you are not doing the things necessary because again, you are not looking at your numbers. You're not doing your bookkeeping correctly. You're not making sure that you should be taking care of the things that you need to be taking care of to be able to keep your business. But instead, you are living a lifestyle, buying all this stuff, living this lifestyle because someone is telling you can write all this stuff off, but you're not doing the very necessary things that you need to do to keep your business running. And then when the business falls apart because you're not paying the rent or you're not doing this and that, who on earth can have a business and not know that you're not paying rent unless you're not doing your bookkeeping. Correct? If you're not keeping track, you take a look at your finances and stuff like that. How do you not know? How can you blame that on somebody else? If you're not having meetings to go over your numbers, to look at your stuff, to make sure, so I can see what my expenses are, so I can see all these types of things. Yep. Correct. If you have like ADP, QuickBooks, or something like that, they automatically take it out of everybody's paycheck and they either send it on or they put it into their deal and then they send it out every month. So it's stuff like that. It's things when people start a business that they don't think about that. They don't think about that. They're just like, hey, I'm making all this money, but I have no idea what my ROI is. I have no idea what my cash flow is. I have no idea if I'm profitable or not. Okay, so now you're on 12. So are you good? Because now it's showing. So I guess it was me. So I apologize, everybody. The internet works crazy out here. But yeah, because now it's showing this recording. We're like in an hour now. So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So now it's not frozen anymore. So it was me. It wasn't you. I apologize, everybody. But what was I saying?
I forgot. it was very abrupt. It was very abrupt. I was like, oh.
We're at that time now anyway. So.
Well, go ahead and wrap it up. And then, yeah.
So for me, to wrap it up, again, we didn't really talk about everything we wanted to talk about today, but I don't know what's going on. It jumped out again, but it's showing you. But you can hear me, right? And you can see me. Yeah, because I see myself over there. But if somebody's really truly thinking about starting a business, or it's not even that, if you are really thinking about retirement planning, any types of things like that, you really need to sit down, and before you get started, you really need to understand what is your plan, what is your goal, and how do you plan on getting there. A goal without, a plan without a goal without a plan, we know how that goes. So you really need to think about how you plan on starting your business. How does your business make money? Is it something that you're going to have to pay yourself a salary when you first start, especially if it's a business that you're going to quit? So do you have the money to sustain not only the business, but sustain yourself while you're growing the business? And then definitely keep track of your cash flow on a monthly to quarterly basis, so you can see different things that you can do to help you grow your business. And again, I think the article I sent today, not only for you, for your business, but for you also personally, you really need to think about how does your business grow? Where again, it's kind of frustrating because you always hear people say, I want to start a business to save taxes. And in a way, you're correct. Because of my solo 401k, I'm able to max that out. And as the employer, I'm able to put in way more money than if I was working at a job. People don't know that. People don't know that if I have a SEP IRA, I'm able to put in 25% of the profit of my business. So I'm able to put way more money into retirement than somebody who's working at a job and put it in the 23,000, and then your employer's doing the 3 or 6% match. So when I look at things like that, I sit back and say, well, yeah, I can save way more money saving for retirement as opposed to if I work for somebody. Not I have a W-2 and I make up this fake business and then go buy this car and write the car off and say it's under my business. So I'm running around with negative Schedule Cs to bring my AGI down, as opposed to putting money into my 401k or putting money into my traditional IRA and things like that. Again, it's not sexy. And usually that's the problem. Things like that aren't sexy. But again, if you're really and truly trying to grow sustainable wealth, not $1 million tomorrow, Rochelle, but trying to grow sustainable wealth, these are the type of things that you should be thinking about. How do I grow money that I'm going to have 10, 15, 20, 25 years from now when I'm getting ready to retire, depending on how old you are, as opposed to the person who believes I can get rich here in the next year or two by opening up an IUL and then taking the money out of the IUL. Anyway, I'm good. Because again, I don't want to talk badly about stuff. So do you have anything as we're wrapping up?
Yeah, that sums it up. Thank you for Master Your Money with Eric Anderson. You guys, thank you, and we appreciate you for tuning in tonight. We'll be here next week, Tuesday, again, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Master Your Money with Eric Anderson. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff at Anderson Taxes. You can also go to thefinancialturtle.com. Please go in there, subscribe there, and we'll be sending you a lot of information that, regarding finances, and really just trying to be connected to us so you get the latest updates and information from the Financial Turtle. And we'll be having a lot of videos coming out. If you have any questions or any concerns for any particular topic, please feel free to reach out. Eric is available for anything, any of your financial needs, consulting or whatnot. And we'll be here again. Eric?
And yeah, and to top on that, if there's any type of questions that you have, you can send them to info@thefinancialturtle, and I can email you back. And sometimes we're even going to do videos, real quick videos, to kind of get your question out, because it might be questions that might be a question that other people are concerned about or have a question about. So we're even going to start doing videos on questions that people ask to kind of explain it to the masses a little bit. That's why we're even doing the articles on a daily basis and stuff like that. The things that we are posting daily are questions that people come in here and ask me about. So I thought it would be a lot easier for me to just do those articles, do like a quick synopsis of some of the things that people are asking about, especially as we're getting closer to tax season. There are a lot of things that people are seeing that they have questions about. And so they reach out to me. Again, we keep talking about people sending me videos and stuff like that. But people also reach out, they email me, they text me, they'll say, hey, I saw this, you know, is this something I can start doing during tax season, or is it something I need to be looking out for? And so usually if somebody does that, and if anybody has any questions or anything they want me to talk about, again, just shoot me an email, shoot me a text at 512-626-7545. And I will either answer your question in a text, or again, we'll do like a quick article or a quick synopsis or something like that to kind of answer your question.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate you. And we'll be seeing you soon. Good night.
Everybody coming out. Thank you.
Woo! It's like a whole production.